looked at differently. When you're portrayed as a comedian, everything you do is in a comedic lens
Well, but hold on.
compared to like a let's see, like what's his name? Say you had Tom Cruise dressing up in a dress. You would question that differently than Jim Carrey dressing up in a dress.
I don't know. I think Tom might have did it before.
Well, hold on. I think Indian G's was going to say something.
The shit, I just lost it. The
Because I had a good point. That's
what was
why.
the last thing you just said, Wicked?
The Indian G's. Well, you're finding Kelvin and Wild Wild West
See?
With Will Smith, Kelvin Klein, I think his name is. He wore a dress at one point in time. He was, he was always taking on different views and different images of pretending playing different characters. And he wore a dress at one point in time in there.
Okay, but hold on. Let me ask your question real quick to that. To him specifically, was he a one genre actor, or did he portray multiple things? Where he was a comedian, a serious an actor, where he tried to be multiple things as you knew it was acting? Because you know how there are some actors that do like one role instead of trying to branch themselves out. I think I would kind of lean a little differently compared to like Tom Cruise again has like one role that he plays in every single movie. You're not going to see him in a horror film or in anything besides an action film.
Right, but before you said it's different if you're a comedian, and if I understand correctly, no, not that it's different. I think it would be more acceptable.
Hang on, Wicked.
Hold on.
Okay,
let RJ get finished, man. Let RJ get finished.
So this all started with that Cat Williams thing.
Dan, we're talking, so quiet.
I'm pretty certain that.
Man, you're talking over everybody, brother.
Dan, I can't hear you.
You're talking over everybody. You're talking over everybody, Wicked. Come on, man.
Kevin Hart. I'm pretty sure Cat Williams was explicitly talking about Kevin Hart in those interviews, and he's always been a comedian, and that he's seen as someone who got the Netflix roast and all of that stuff, all these movies with The Rock, because he did the humiliation ritual of wearing the dress.
And do you also know that but I also believe that Cat Williams and Kevin Hart have a lot of long-term beef to where they're going back and forth. So where he's going to try to take jabs at him. So I think he has a bias towards Kevin Hart. They're both like midget actors that try to go for the same part.
Hey, no short shame. All right. I'm 5'4".
Dude, I'm 5'7", bro. Give me a break.
All right. That's at least normal short. I'm woman
short. I can't relate.
You can't relate to a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you squirrels go on amongst each other while I continue to make my valid points.
Okay.
Wait, which one?
I don't know about valid
point. Which one?
Which one was that?
Point. You made a valid
keep
point?
Using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Just like
again, I'm buying you a dictionary for Christmas, bro. It's coming up soon. 6 more months. You're getting a dictionary.
All right, so
all three of y'all get dresses.
All right, so I think we covered that one pretty well. So what's the next one we got? So we got any comments? Okay. So we're gonna comment. Okay, we're gonna go into question. Okay, so this one right here is I'm gonna give a little context to make sure we're all on the same page.
This is easy.
That's easy. That's men. It's men. That's a stupid question.
No, women, they already doing it. What you mean?
Hold on. So let's say once we get to Steven Spielberg's movie called Artificial Intelligence, when we get to that level of it, where I don't know if y'all seen the movie Surveillance with Megan Fox. Once we have it common to where you can have AI robots walking that look like Megan Fox, or
women have had a year head.
At that time, not right now. At that time, who's going to be having copulation with robots, or women or men? And we're going to go around. We're going to go around the room a minute or less for your positive case. And then we'll get into
real quick before what are we constituting as a robot? Because
that's what I got to ask you. I got to ask that question.
Because if a regular, Dido is a robot,
that's why I was about to ask that same exact question. I was literally about to ask that same question for that exact reason.
And to take it a step further, if you know what the what is it called? I think it's called like a Sibian machine or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
machine that just if that's not a robot. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So. Excellent question. I'm talking about more like the Steven Spielberg Artificial Intelligence or the movie Surveillance with Megan Fox, where they're actually able to have conversations. I'm talking about once we get to that level where you can actually.
Can we break this down to race? Because I feel like Asians are going to win this one.
So once we can have somebody living with you, whatever the case may be, and they are a robot like those movies.
Gotcha.
Who will use them more, women or men? And then we'll start with you, then Jesus, what you got? Men or less?
Absolutely women. We already see the use of the toys that we already have. Fine, if those are not what we're counting as robots now.
That's not what we're counting.
There's no reason to think that the evolution of the technology that we're talking about would follow exactly that. And so they would use the relevant technology of the day, which would eventually become robots. Then we also have the understanding of AI psychosis. It is overwhelmingly women who fall in love with their chatbots. Some men do as well, but it's definitely a female problem. And so you merge the two, and I don't see how men are doing worse. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a lot of dusty ass dudes doing that, but it'll be every single woman. Especially if you think about the books that women read. Oh man, they don't watch stuff; they read stuff, and it's worse than anything. Well, I don't know what you guys watch, but
all right, that's what you got.
I actually agree with him for the first time tonight. Yeah, he was right. He was spot on. I mean, right now, if we measuring what they're currently using, if that counts as a robot, then women by far. But if you're saying the actual like full humanoid form, it's hard to say. I would favor women right now, but I mean, obviously, men obviously suffer with it too, and there is a large amount of incels, a lot of men that struggle with that. So I think they might like the idea of having a robot. I mean, you get to tell it what to do. It shuts up when you want it to. So it's almost like having the perfect woman. So it's hard to say. It's real hard to say, but I would say right now it favors women.
Okay. Dane, what you got?
Well, of course, it's going to be women that are going to do it because women are such emotionally led and controlled people. This is why a woman, I don't know a woman in my 54 years of life. I haven't heard a woman talk about her relationships that didn't have at least one psycho boyfriend or husband. And what they do is they'll go from the same psycho boyfriend with a different face and a different name, and they don't learn. And they always say, well, he tricked me. He got in my head and he tricked me and got control of me, which makes me wonder why we let them vote if they're that controllable according to their emotions. So these women, they do that. They make their decisions based on their zodiac signs, a lot of them, and that kind of stuff. They'll spend $300 on a pair of jeans that already have holes in them because somebody told them it made their butt look good. So, and you also have the issue with so many single mothers today that are wearing that are raising these good men who are really just men who won't challenge them and that sort of stuff. So when the AI boyfriends get more prevalent, and then good Lord, the robots, if they get to be lifelike, well, heck yes, because same reason we have cat ladies, because the cats do not give them any demands emotionally to contribute to the relationship. The cat's there when they need affection, and when the woman's not in the mood for a relationship, that she just doesn't pet the cat or the dog or whatever, whereas children and husbands do require from them. So that robot boyfriend that they can put in the closet, and when they want some companionship that doesn't cost them anything, they pull it out, turn it on. He's Mr. Fantastic. And then when they're not in the mood, put them back in the closet. Yep. That's the way it goes. A lot of women do that to their husbands today, but for generations, there's been a lot of men that were married to robots in the bedroom, but they was just an actual human being. Yes, I said it.
Yeah, so when them Zodiac robots hit the market, man, they're going to be flying off the racks like hotcakes.
No idea what that even means.
I'm talking about for the women when they have Zodiac edition robots, like a Taurus or a Scorpio or whatever.
Hold on real quick.
Sign they believe is their match. They're going to be flying off the rack. Invest in those.
Wicked.
All right, so I'm going to be the odd one out the group over here tonight, and I'm going to say it's the men. For the plain fact that more men are, let's say, involuntary celibate, which I think is a bullshit term to begin with. So we won't even go into that because that's a whole nother realm to open up. The fact that they could get sex on demand would lead them to use a robot more. Now, if we were to go into the terms of how they were saying women use their toys as of right now and classify those as a robot, I would lean more towards the agreement of women. But since the topic of the question is the actual physical robot itself, you're going to tell me that a man who has the option to deal with a woman or to deal with something that will do whatever he wants, will take that option of a woman over something that he can just do with what he wants is just completely absurd to me. I believe that most women want actual connection in the way that they think. They want a actual connection with a human being and a person. I don't think that most women want men that they can kind of control or do whatever they want with, because if that was the case, all the men that are in their inbox and those little simps, they would be taking all of them. They wouldn't be taking that man that ignores them and kind of gives them that pushback to make them fight for that man.
Okay, all right. So we got Wicked that's saying he thinks it'll be more the men who use it more. So anybody want to cross-examine that? Or I say Wicked. Anybody want to cross-examine? Anybody want to cross-examine Wicked on that? We have a little bit of disagreement.
I mean, I think my cross-examination went in with my point that I made, because if you have men have an option to have sex with a woman, where a majority, a high percentage of men these days have no sexual interaction with women at all. If you think that they are going to take that option over women to women who have the option to have sex with any man that they want, even if they wanted to, is absurd, because a woman could stand outside with a sign that says, hey, free sex. They're going to get approached 1,000,000 times more than the guy would that has a sign that says free sex.
Those are a lot of arguments I've used before, and I agree with you on that. And I also think the financial side plays into a factor too, because those robots are going to cost the robots are going to cost a lot of money, and I think men are going to be the ones that are right there with cash in hand, ready to cash out, whereas women are going to be like, I don't know if I'm going to spend that much.
Why? They're going to be why exactly? Women are like, why am I going to buy a robot when I have a man that can buy me my things?
Well, but if it's already we're already seeing the women being like, oh, there's no good men because of the things that we talked about before. So it's not a matter of, if you're talking about, incels and stuff, then that is definitely going to get worse.
Right, but these robots are sex robots. That's what they're designed for.
Right.
Women have to, but women hold the controls to sex. They have the key to sex. Men don't.
That's only that doesn't hold true if the robots are an actual replacement. And so we're already seeing that a lot of men are taking themselves out of the dating pool.
How many women want someone that can control?
Hold on, let me finish.
How many women what?
Okay, good. How many women want a man that they can control and do whatever they want with, versus somebody who's going to tell them over? So once they get bored with that, once they have a man who's like some little bitch, they move on to the next man. They don't stay with that man. If they did, then that means that men who are actually like nerds and scientists and stuff like that would be getting more women than players and pimps and guys who are the complete opposite.
But my point
in the reality is that the men who don't want the women are the ones that they go after.
Okay, and so
the robot would be the other one.
What I'm saying is, in the same way that women want what they want from men want what they want from women. And so there's no reason that we would say that all of the men who are, let's just say, getting played right now are willing to deal with what comes with dealing with a real woman. And so there's some level of the guys of that level who are who the women want, who are going to take themselves out because, I can get play, but I got to deal with their attitude. And so then the men that are willing to do that are going to be, lower on the scale. They're not going to like that. I'm like, why would I, get with this Dusty, this short, this whatever, this fat guy, this whatever it is, when I can just perfectly make everything that I want. And as you said, they want to be able to tell it to do whatever they want. And again, we're just talking about a Roomba, a Roomba, ChatGPT, a dildo, and our grape fantasy books rolled up into one. There's no way that combination is appeals more to men than to women. And again, I'm not saying that men won't like sex bots.
Well, let me ask you this, then, do you think this might change it? The fact that perhaps, and obviously it's going to depend on how the economics are going at that time, especially with the genders. But if it's something similar to now, where women still earn less than men, part of the reason why women prefer, men, and they even deal with men is because of the resource aspect of it.
I mean, that's a whole conversation to get into that's begging the question. But even let's just say that the wage gap is true. We know that consumer spending is from predominantly from, or not predominantly, but more from women than men. And so again, going into the ideas of what we expect this behavior to how we expect this behavior to manifest, we're already seeing that whether or not women make the same, we'll put that to the side. Women spend a lot more of their money than men spend of their own money, unless it's within.
Did you get the question I was asking real quick? Just make sure you understand the question I was asking. I was saying part of the reason women like men is because of men have resources. So if these AI robots aren't bringing resources in, is it possible that men might go towards these sex robots more than the women, because women still want somebody bringing in money? They still have that desire to have somebody around that has money, and if the robot doesn't have that, where men does it? Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if
no, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point.
So I'm saying that could maybe balance it out a little bit more, because men don't require that from women. So really, what the robot can give, the man, pretty much is all he really would want.
Yeah, fair enough. And so I think
I'm just asking y'all if y'all think that could have an impact on it all, like that could change some things.
It could replace some things. It could be a replacement that happens in society in a large proportion of the male population, because I think it's like 41% of men get to reproduce or something like that. So most men compared to women,
compared to all women, right?
Right.
So now, real quick, let's go back to what Vulcan was saying. So, do you think? So, how many women, even though that the sex is good from a man, still try to pursue another man who can provide for them with more than just sex? Because men, sex is more important, and attraction is more important to women who want a emotional connection. So do you think, being that women want more of a emotional connection to where men just want sex and obedience, that the women would then pursue a robot which can only give them sex and obedience instead of a emotional connection? I hear a lot of crickets.
No, I mean, I have seen where women can have two relationships. They can have a relationship with a man that they're getting pleasure from sexually, and then another man that's like their wallet or their spender or the provider, so to say, that pays for everything. So
right now, but they can also get the sexual relationship from the provider as well. So now they're getting sex and providing instead of just sex.
How are they?
Women are hypergamous, so therefore they're always going to try to find better. So a robot can only provide you X amount, which is never going to be good enough.
Well, and I think that comes down to we're talking in the hypothetical. It depends on what the reality of these technologies are. So
right, and most likely the robot is going to be for a sexual thing.
Well, no. We don't know. So
the implementation can be AI. They can focus more on the relationship.
Can I say one sentence without being interrupted by you?
No, go ahead. I want to.
Y'all got Jesus calling on himself.
I forgot my fucking point again. Jesus Christ.
Man, you just kind of thought easy. Hold on to it. Something. Write it down.
It'll come back.
Well, it would be easier. It'd be easier if folks would give Lutz a chance to finish his thought before they just steamroll over top of him. I mean, I know I interrupt people a lot when I'm arguing, but I'm arguing on point. But I respond to an argument. People get like 3 or 4 words out, and it's like y'all just jumping in there, and then you don't have time to even finish your point. But it ain't none of my business. I'm just gonna sit here and eat my burrito. No pun intended. It's an actual burrito. So don't be giving me none of them LBGT innuendos. That ain't fun anyway.
Open your mouth wide and put it in there, Dan.
Gotta stuff his face in the middle of a pot.
Haram. Disavow.
You can't miss
disavow.
So I mean, I think we covered this one pretty well. I do think that there's, I mean, I do like the point that Denny and Jesus said, and then I think T. Reason mentioned it, maybe Dane mentioned it as well, that if we look at just people using what we can approximate as robots now, it's no comparison. But I think the pushback I would give to that is just that, just given the anatomical structures, one for men, it's a lot more difficult to derive the same type of pleasure these women are getting from their toys.
Well, that's why I said if it was actual toys,
that things are changing, but historically, it's for the man, it's not.
They got a monopoly right now.
Yeah, as far as like the way that the structures work together. Once you once you get Megan Fox, I'm gonna keep using her as an example because I saw the movie Surveillance, to be able to be accessible to all kind of guys. She's licensing out her looks or whatever they might do, and now you got this guy who is completely, taken out of the
dating.
Bro, you're telling me that more men are not going to go to build a bitch than women are going to go to build a man?
Nope.
It depends on the implementation because
women don't know what they want.
Oh, you know what? I got an example for you. There's actually a video of a woman who brings up a good point to where I can't give you word for word, but I'll give you the summary of what she says. Is she pretty much says is like there's a group of women and they go into a mall, and on the first floor they're told that, hey, this is the guy you can get. He's A, B. And then they're like, you know what? That's not good enough. I want to go to the second floor. But on the second floor is guy A, B, and C. Now they can't go back to guy A and B. And even though A, B, and C sound kind of good, guess what? They still want to go to the third floor just to see, because they want to know that, hey, you know what? There could be better. I want that. Let me go see what it is. And by the time they get to the top floor, they're like, guess what? Your number 7,647,288 million. You know what I mean? It's like they always want more. Yeah, exactly. There are no men left. So essentially, because of their nature,
they get to the top floor and there's no men.
They're sold out. They're sold out of men.
Exactly, because guess what? You have all these women fighting after one type of woman.
You're done, Dane? Okay. Yeah.
But here's my thing, though, Wicked. To counter that, what if they advertise that robot to be that guy on that floor? They advertise him to be that perfect experience. So when they use the AI, they now can create.
And that's still not going to be good enough. That's still not going to be good enough for them.
Okay, so here's my
it already is good enough.
But here's my thing, though. It's like going to like a attraction, like an amusement park, riding that ride.
Listen to me.
Even though you already know that ride is probably going to scare you once or twice, and you still want to go to that park and try that ride out. You see what I'm saying?
The reason women have eyebrows, shave them off, and draw them on.
Women do not. I make sense. And yeah, I think the
I'm just saying they're still going to want to ride the ride. That's all.
No matter what you do, it will never be good enough because they always want better.
And so that ties into the fact that a man might be happy enough with a fleshlight. Maybe the thing vibrates and warms up or whatever. You're good to go. But the woman, based on what we're talking about here, the woman is going to want something better and better and better and better and better.
Fully loaded edition.
Correct. And even if you build a perfect robot, it's still not going to be.
Oh, that's my point. My point is they are going to invest money in higher and higher things, and they are going to continue that. That's going to be its own industry, whereas the men are going to get what they get. It's good enough, and there you go. I still think women will be more into it.
Yeah, I could see women being like I am with my iPhone, Like, hey, I go get a new iPhone. Okay, it's time to trade up. But I think that if they come out with actual believable robot women, and by what I mean by like a believable good robot woman is one that knows how to make a sandwich and do laundry and work the dishwasher and stuff and shut up. And if they can also come out with a robotic womb so that men can have children in that robotic womb, then I guess women are going to be out in the woods like wild feral hogs or something, because of where we're at in 2026 right now. When you talk to a woman and you ask her, what are your duties to provide to the culture? The only thing they're going to say is we're the only ones that can have children, because it's just a part of that feminist mind now where women that, they don't have to cook. They don't have to clean. They don't have to be a man's piece. They don't have to be fit, feminine, friendly. They just show up and they say, well, I'm here because they have a womb. They don't have to perform anything anymore. So if the industry comes along and so that womb can be replaced, and then, the housework, like Rosie in the old cartoons going around at the Jetsons, I think it was, cleaning up and everything. If we get that to where all a man's getting out of the woman is that womb and a little bit of companionship. I've been married 35 years. My wife and I are like cornflake and milk. Okay, we're very, very close, but that's best I can tell. That's unusual. That's an anomaly. Some of these guys I know, man, their wife, I don't know how they've lived with them this long. So, there's going to be men like me who does get a wife that, a woman that you do enjoy spending time with. But for the most part, that robot in that womb is going to replace the woman. But it's not because that man's some pervert and he wants to go get freaky with a Megan Fox robot necessarily.
Which I said George was banging Rosie. Oh,
Jane, get me off this crazy thing, remember?
Clamps down. Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
It's I think I lean more lady, to the ladies like y'all do, but I do think that T Reason and Wicked do bring up a good point with so many males that are just kind of just outside of the dating market, involuntarily, as has been said. That's a lot of guys, and I don't see why they wouldn't just go pick up the newest, Jessica Biel.
I think they would.
Sydney.
Women have more options at the end of the day.
True. But to be clear, I am certainly not saying that it will not be an issue for men. That's not at all what I'm saying. Just we have to pick who's going to be worse. I think it's going to be bad for everybody. And I mean, again, in the versions that we already have, they are already not good for everybody. So I don't know if you guys ever been with a chick who needs her toy while you
so again, this is why I ask. Like when I said in the beginning, that's why I agreed with you guys in the beginning. If you want to talk about the toys that they have now, it will be women 100%. But if you go to the actual robot itself, which is what the question is, that's why I lean more towards men.
So
because women have more options.
Is the newness factor. Like when they first come out, I think there's going to be a line of men out the door. But I think that after we experience them for a while and then we don't have that, it kind of starts feeling soulless and then we come to a logical conclusion with it. Some of that might wear off for men where we're like, we might opt out, whereas women may opt in long term. Whereas it depends on the implementation, to be honest with you.
I got a question for y'all. Could y'all date a woman who knew had a robot?
No.
She's really into you, but she has her robot.
No.
Get rid of if you're into me, then you're getting rid of that robot. If you ain't getting rid of that robot, then you're not that into me.
There's a lot of men today that are with women who have the little thing, the battery operated buddy over there in the nightstand. So I'm not sure how that would be a whole bunch of a different thing, but
I feel like there's no competition when it comes to a robot.
I would say,
I'm not worried about the robot. I don't care.
For 2 reasons, you're saying you wouldn't mind.
To go on with Jane.
I don't care because I already know he
wouldn't care if she had a robot.
He's not going to outdo the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
You're just fine to sit in the corner and watch and wait for your turn.
I never said that.
So here's the thing.
Now I will set some boundaries. I don't want to walk in on you in a robot and he going to town on your ass.
That's why she's got to get rid of it. Either it goes or you both go.
So let me give you an example. Right now, I never have walked in on a woman in the middle with her toy. And I know she got a whole drawer down there with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's never been something that I've experienced before where, the lady that I'm entertaining at that time has,
That's because you left the room and she finished.
No, I finished this multiple times before I left the room, brother. That's what
I know you finished. We know. We know you finished. So we're talking about her finishing.
No. I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
Look, I am trying to eat over here, fellas.
I know. Look what you're eating.
Hold on. I did just think of one thing. Are we talking about a regular robot or a humanoid robot?
I'm talking about.
I was thinking about
advanced technology they come out with, the most advanced version.
Well, I'm just
like Ex Machina.
You can have an advanced version of a regular robot, and you can have an advanced version of a humanoid robot. Two different things.
Okay, well, how would that change your answer?
That's why. Well, because that's why I asked. If you have toys, then I would kind of agree with you guys. If it was a humanoid robot, I would say that maybe women might lean a little bit more towards a humanoid robot versus a physical
this is what I want to know.
Machine. That's why I would ask this question.
This is what I would want to know, right? Like I said, 37 years with the same woman. If she walked in my office right now and said, Dane, if she showed me on her phone, here's a robot, it's a male robot, I want to buy this robot, bring him in the house. Here's the first thing I'm going to ask. Does he come with a lawnmower attachment?
Probably.
But does he come with the attachment to wash my car, mow my grass? go out there and split that firewood and stuff, because we could probably work something out. We can just kind of
free rides around here, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we can work something out. It could be our robot. I don't have no interest in the sexual side of it, but when the transmissions in my lawnmower need to be rebuilt, can you go out there and do that while I'm sitting on the couch?
So I got a question for you.
Always trying to put somebody to work, man.
For T-Reason, I can't tell if you're joking or being serious, but for you,
a white man trying to enslave a robot.
There's no robot that we created. You think that could be better than you?
No, I don't think so. I think that my need is always going to be there. So the things I can do,
the need in that area. I'm talking about the need in that area, though.
Yeah, exactly. The way that I can perform, I don't think a robot is gonna take that away.
It's probably like vaudeville,
brother. Whatever you need.
I think that's the reason that they made robots.
I sleep through the night very, very good.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I bet you do with dreams like that.
What's up with these single guys that are bragging about all their sexual prowess? I don't know.
Yeah, so we got Mr. Johnson saying, are we going to end up having to pay the robots reparations in the future?
Yeah.
You don't clean them, they definitely do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but I think some women do. Good Lord.
Can you imagine having to clean that thing? That's weird. That's gonna be
I like your stream focus. Hey, appreciate you. That's what I like to hear, my man.
Right on.
Indian Jesus is cool.
That's my boy.
He's weird looking though, wouldn't you say? I told him when I first met him, he looks like Master Shredder, like Temu Master Shredder.
I feel like I saw him in Don't Mess with Zohan.
I get the Brown Moist Critical. I get Jared Leto. I get
I don't know about Jared
Russell
Leto.
Brand. And there's one.
I don't know about that either.
Russell a little bit.
How could you be Russell Brand? You look like. How do you get related to Russell Brand?
If the hair wasn't as long.
I'm just telling you. I'm not saying
I'm telling you, if somebody says that to you, they're retarded.
Nah,
okay.
I see it. I can see that, and I can see the personality and the voice.
And then that just backs up exactly what I said. That's exactly that. You literally just confirmed what I said.
What do you mean?
He doesn't get it either. He doesn't get it either. Oh my God! You can't make this shit up.
Oh man, it's not.
I'm having a good time,
but it's close.
I'm having a good time.
It's close enough.
So yeah, I think we covered most of the topics. I mean, anybody else got anything want to cover? Anybody got a topic they want to bring up?
I mean, I sent Enos a whole bunch. I mean, if he goes in his messages, he go back like 2 or 3 videos. Some of those are really good. So
Enos, I don't know.
What do you guys think about that guy who got crap from random strangers about having his daughters in the female bathroom?
Oh, that was hard. Oh, that's stupid.
The dude calling was insane. He was
Yeah.
literally in the women's room. He was literally in the women's room arguing that, there's a man in here. And like, again, I think that, don't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, it's just silly. It's
so
just
what's
silly.
the question? Let's first figure the question.
The question would be, do you feel it's okay as a man to bring your daughters into a woman's restroom? I would agree with yes, it is okay. The question would be, do you believe as a man and you have your daughters and they need to use the restroom, do you bring them into the woman's restroom or the male restroom? I say the woman's restroom.
Assuming there's no family bathroom.
Assuming that there's no family bathroom, yes. Assuming that, yes. If you have a male room, a female room. Man with a daughter, do you bring him to the woman's bathroom or the male bathroom? Not one of those unisex, do what you want.
Hold on, okay. I want to go around real quick, make sure we get it. So T-Reason, if you got a guy and his daughter, which bathroom does he go in, the women's or the males?
So to me, it's not an easy question to answer. I think there's a lot of nuance there. So for me, I think it's up to his judgment. I think that in certain situations, he has to make a judgment of if he's going to use the men's restroom or if he's going to use the women's restroom. And I think that he should exercise some good judgment on which one he uses. In most cases, if there's nobody in the men's restroom and the men's restroom is clean and sanitary and different things like that, he should go into the men's restroom. But I think that under rare circumstances where it's an emergency or he just knows that he has to use the women's restroom, he should be able to make that judgment call and go into the women's restroom and use that restroom. I don't think there's a problem with that. But I can see how some people would have a problem with it once they discover it's a man in there. So
what
hopefully,
do you think, brother? What do you think?
That's what I'm waiting on.
I'm saying
talking about what people can have. The point is what you.
Because I'm looking at the scenario.
We all understand that. We're asking about. We all understand that people can have different opinions about things. That's why we're here on a panel to talk about the different opinions that people can have on things. So, what is your different opinion on the thing?
Like I said, within certain parameters, I would want to see a lock on the door where he could go in there with just his daughter and lock the door so that way nobody else can come in. Especially if there's
not what we're talking about. How would you feel if you didn't eat yesterday?
He's gonna go into a public, either he can't lock the door, a women's restroom or a public men's, and they're both the same sanitation standards. Which way would you think he should go?
The men's. I would say the men's. If everything's the same, I would say the men's.
We got one for women's, one for men's. Dane, how about for yourself?
Man, sometimes I come on this podcast and I think this must be what my dentist feels like when she's pulling teeth. I mean, I'm just like, it's coming out. It's coming out. Oh, I got it. Here's the answer. Me, when I started having kids, they didn't have family restrooms. I took my kid, we're talking 4 sons and a daughter. So my daughter, when she was that age, I took her into the men's room because I just didn't think any different about it. I didn't think anything about it. However, if a man is taking his daughter into the ladies' room, I think that any reasonable woman that walks in there and sees a man with a daughter, unless she's nuts, and there's a lot of women who are nuts, and she sees that, she's going to know this man is taking care of his daughter. He's not some predator. He's not some predator who has enlisted his daughter as bait to go into the ladies' room to assault women. I mean, I just think that that's just a crazy jump. I think if my wife walked in and there was a man in there with her daughter, because my wife, she's mean as heck, but she's not crazy. She'd say, hey, this is a dad in here with his daughter. And if she felt unsafe, she would step out and wait for him to get finished. She wouldn't send her cowardly husband to the door to stand there with the police on the phone and make a big scene out of it. I just think it was a Karen and then a very feminized husband who's henpecked and does what his wife tells him, trying to show out. That's what I think the case is.
Yet? Was it you, Wicked, or was it Indian Jesus? Who hasn't given their perspective yet on this?
I didn't.
I think
I didn't yet.
Go ahead, Wicked.
So my opinion is I believe that the man should bring the daughter into the woman's restroom because that is the restroom she is supposed to be using. It is your job as a father to teach your daughter. And if you're going to be teaching her, you need to teach her the correct things. Not that a woman should be going to a men's restroom, especially at a young age, but that a woman should be using a woman's restroom. And along with what Dane said, the fact that if a woman walks in there and sees that a man is in there with his daughter, I believe that there is a lot of leeway to be like, you know what? This man isn't in here for some nefarious reason. He's sitting here taking care of his daughter. Now, if it was a man in a woman's restroom by himself, I would agree with the husband that he should not be in there. But the fact that the man is with his daughter shows that what he's doing is just teaching his daughter, hey, you need to use the bathroom. You go to the woman's restroom. This is what you do. You wash your hands and you do all the things that it teaches to use a restroom when you're training a child.
I think that's reading a little too much into it myself. I mean, I get what he's saying and everything, but I don't think that it's my job. That would be my job to teach my daughter where to use the restroom. I would say that would be my wife's job. And there would be occasionally exceptions. Well, how do what now?
There was no mother there, so
that's what I was going to say. There were occasionally exceptions where I would have all of my kids off by myself, and my daughter have to use the bathroom. I just took her into the men's room because I was going in there anyway, and I didn't think anything about it. I don't know what kind of men's rooms y'all go to, but I've never walked into a men's room and the men were backed up on the urinals doing the helicopter. Okay, most men, I walk in, I can't see their little wee-wee. If I have to go in the stall, I go in the stall. Be the same thing with my daughter. So, I mean, it's as far as taking her into the ladies' room, I mean, that's really my wife's job, but I wouldn't care if a guy did.
So I don't think it's the fact that if it's wrong to bring them into a man's room.
I think the NGD's had a point he was going to make up.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think it comes down to it's not that clearly objective. I think the reason this might have been what you were trying to say before, that there is no clear objective. You should, if you're a father with daughters, you should go here or you should go there. It's the conflict between or rather the level of conflict that happened with the other guy. And so we could say that you are a father with daughters, that you go into the men's room, and that is not inherently wrong. You are a father with daughters, and you go into the women's room, and that's not inherently wrong. But doing what the guy on the phone did, objectively wrong.
Yeah, I think that was just crazy.
Yes,
I think the
that's
guy
my whole point. Is the reaction.
Yeah, I think the guy standing in the doorway just triggering over it is kind of the same as somebody saying if a man puts on a dress, it's the downfall of society. I just think that's a big overreaction. I think people end up coming up with answers and then they go around looking for a question for their answer. And that's just kind of the way I see it. And I've raised boys and girls. So, I just never thought anything about it. It's not like
I would agree with what you said.
If I take my daughter into the men's room, that's not the same as me taking her to the strip club.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I'm exposing her to adult themes. And this idea that men in there are predators who are going to be flashing my daughter, that's the mindset that comes from the feminist who want to make out, like they're going to choose the bear because the man's probably a predator.
Good point.
So we're playing into that. I just never thought anything about. I just took my daughter in here, and it was a little odd when she was 16. But no, I'm kidding. She wasn't that old. She was a little girl. Well, when I take them in there, I never thought, don't look to side to side.
Let me ask: Is a default for the man to take his daughter into the men, unless there's some good reason otherwise?
So,
what do you mean? I don't understand what you're asking.
Like if in society, do we just expect that if a man has a daughter and he's got to take her into one of the two restrooms, he's gonna go to the man's restroom unless there's good reason not to? Is that the default or no?
Well, I mean, that's the way that I was. I mean, I'm not saying that would necessarily be, the societal standard, but it never entered my mind, hey, I'm going to take Kaylin into the ladies' room. That never entered my mind. But had it entered my mind, especially if I pushed the door open and I called out like the ladies at Walmart when they're coming to clean the men's room, housekeeping, is there anybody in here? And if I didn't hear a woman, then if I went on in there, well, I mean, a woman that steps in there is going to be safe because they're going to see me standing there. It's not like I'm hiding in the stall waiting on them, but it never entered my mind. I don't know why it entered that father's mind, but on that video, it was clear that he was not a predator.
Would you say it was the default, or so it sounds like you're saying it would be the default? Like that would be the expectation to some extent. Like you said, at least in your life, that was kind of
to take the daughter to the men's room.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. What
Dave,
about Wicked, for you? Like would you consider that the default as well?
I would say, do you think that it would consider to, like, I don't see a problem with bringing them into the men's restroom or the women's restroom if needed. I think it would have to go to if there were people in the restroom and to the comfort level of your child. If your child was like, hey, I'd rather do this than that, I think you would have to lean to the comfort of your child. Now, if it was a men's restroom with nobody in there or whatever, I would be like, okay, bring them into the men's restroom. But you know what I mean? I think you would want to look out for the benefit of what the child is more comfortable with.
Understanding you. So you got a guy taking his daughter. Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. So he's about to walk.
Right.
You're saying that it's 50-50. And so we need to collect more information.
Yeah, so let's say that there's if you go to the men's room and there's like 3 guys in there, and then you go to the women's room that there's 3 women in there, I think that the child would be more comfortable in the women's restroom, being that it is a girl with women in there, being to a man's restroom.
You're saying it's 50-50 until you know who's in the bathroom.
I would say yes.
Okay, got you. T-Reason, what about for you?
Like I said,
is there a default? Is there one that
the default is to the men's bathroom? If there's no one in there, I'm going into the men's. But if it's like too many men, or if you're dealing with a situation where it's like comfort level, if I want my daughter to feel more comfortable, I'm going to take her into the women's restroom. You know what I mean?
Make all that a little bit uncomfortable. It's like my daughter's comfortable with other women.
I mean, I think
my daughter's
sometimes
comfort
people,
takes comfort over another woman's comfort.
Okay, gotcha. What about the Indian Jesus? What about for you? So, but I think people are saying the default would be, except for Wicked. But for you, is there a default on a certain direction, or?
Well, no, I don't think it depends on a lot of different factors, and so that's why I was trying to put some substance into what T Reason was saying with this the start, that it's, well, you got to take the judgment here, judgment there, and so again, I don't think there is an objective, clear answer, but I would say that the default is, if it's a little girl, then you make sure that there is nobody in there, but like, for example, if we had that exact same situation and the women's room was full, but the men's room was empty, I would have said, well, you probably should go in the men's room unless you're going to wait outside until it's empty, and all that. So there is nuance to it. I think the deferring to the child and what's best for them is ideal, but you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, well, see, that's interesting. See, Wicked and Indian Jesus, y'all bring up a new perspective. Somebody who has daughters, I always just thought the default was for me to go into the men's restroom with my daughter. To see that there's variation there, that's pretty cool. I think. Sorry, go ahead. Somebody say something.
I was just going to say, this is kind of what I was just thinking. I saw a meme on Facebook today, because that's where old people hang out at, on Facebook. I saw this meme on Facebook that I've seen before, where this woman, was saying, how the teachers promoted the space shuttle launch to us, and they rolled the TV in, and they were celebrating the first teacher going into space, and we watched it take off and blow up and die, and the teachers just rolled the television out of the room and went right back to class like there was nothing to it. Okay, but today, anything is traumatic at all, and they bring in the counselors and make them available to the students and the parents, and they expect the children to be a lot more damaged or traumatized than I think is not necessarily necessary. And so I think that's kind of the thing with the bathrooms. I mean, I think, like, I wonder, maybe Wicked or Wicked and one of the other two were saying that something about comfort level. Like I'm wondering, like, when I took my daughter into the men's room, what is it there's a danger of happening that the men would do, that my daughter would do? If I just walk in, there's a couple of guys over here on the urinal, there's a dude over here washing his hands, he's wanting to go on about his shopping or his road trip, and I'm taking my little 3-year-old daughter in. Like, I'm trying to understand what the danger would be.
So
man,
for me, from what I've
restroom. Come on now.
So that's all irrelevant. I can agree with what Dane's saying. So for me, from what I have noticed, is that I have Dane's question. So I understand what Dane's asking. So for me, from what I've noticed, like me, I have a 3-year-old child. Okay, when I take him to the park, I notice that there are little girls that feel more comfortable around women than they do men. Whether that has to do with the parenting situation or whatever, but the women, the young girls, the children of girls will lean more towards the mother figure than they would the father figure. So I believe that is why that the comfort level would rely more on them going into a woman's room, seeing women in there, compared to seeing a group of men who are strangers, because strangers in general are already uncomfortable for children as it is.
So you think, but there's strangers in the other room.
I don't think everybody else got a chance to answer your question.
Yes, there are strangers in the other room, but the fact that they are women strangers makes it a little less uncomfortable than it would be for a male stranger as a child.
Hold on, Indian Jesus, you want to respond to the question as well?
I want to respond too.
Well, I just saying the difference there has to do with the circumstances and I'm just repeating myself, but I think it's sorry. You were asking what the danger was. See, sometimes it just takes me a second and I'm right back. Thank you very much, Big Daddy Pod, for the 5. There isn't necessarily a present danger, which is why my opinion isn't that there is an objective right or wrong answer. But if we are to get down to it, then if there is going to be danger to a young girl, it's more likely to be in the men's room than it is the women's room, even though we don't expect there to be any danger in either.
Well, how would there be a danger to the little girl when Daddy's standing right there?
I don't have a question, but T Reason has to answer.
Okay, I got you.
The fact that I gotta explain
this for you, Dane,
tells me everything I need to know.
Okay. Oh God, here we go with the woman poetry.
Oh, can I finish, please? Just listen.
Go ahead, T Reason.
there is a lot of catastrophes that happen in the men's bathroom that I do not want my daughter to be exposed to. I don't want to traumatize my child to seeing the size of a male dookie. Okay, I don't want her to walk in after Dane and drop the deuce and her to see a massive log sitting in that thing and I can't flush it. I'm hitting the handle and it ain't flushing. I'm hitting it, jiggling it, and it won't budge. And I can smell it. And now my child, my 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old child is smelling it too. And the worst thing, I don't want them to see a Lil Weenie dangling and mangling. I don't want to see a guy come off the stall and forget to pull his pants up in time and my child to be exposed to that. Now I got to put my hand in front of her eyes so she don't see it for very long.
Clutch your pearls, man. Clutch your pearls. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's a big turd in the toilet. Oh my gosh.
Can I finish, please? Can I please get it out? Because I know yours, when you got a number 2, it gets stuck in there sometimes and you got to.
I don't know how you know about what comes out of my butt, man.
I'm looking
you got some weird
about what's going on,
man. I've seen the burrito you stuff down your pie hole, so I'm already imagining what that number 2 finna be.
I don't know how
you ain't wrong, but it's still kind of gay. T-Reason, you're not wrong there, but it's still kind of gay.
Yeah, I'm getting a little uncomfortable. You're talking about my anus.
Does he take a bowel movement? A bowel movement?
I mean, you're talking about my anus, man. That's weird.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about you taking a dump.
I know. I don't take a dump out of my elbow.
I know.
I've never in my life thought about anything to do with another man's butthole, man.
I didn't think. I'm talking about you going to the bathroom. We were talking about the bathroom.
Yeah, my butthole. My butthole, man.
I understand how.
Go ahead, say it with me now. Butthole. You're thinking about it, say it.
We're butthole. Keep you on topic today. Okay, I see you off topic.
Big Daddy's big butthole.
Your mind is in the gutter right now. That's not where mine was.
You're the one talking about turds, man.
Because that's what happens in the bathroom.
I know you want some of this.
Does that not? Is that not what happens in the bathroom? What happens in the bathroom?
I got you, bro.
People are gonna go number 1 or number 2. You ain't got.
I don't know. I don't know what other people do in the bathrooms. I don't pay attention to them.
You might got a third one if you
I walk in and I use the bathroom. I'm not walking in interviewing folks. Hey, what are you doing in the bathroom?
You got to pull your tampon out because you need to put yours back in right now and let me finish. Okay.
You're not gonna finish, man. You're the one talking about butthole.
And Dane got his pants down to his ankles because you know when he do it, he take his shorts all the way to his ankles.
There you go, talking about me undressing.
For some odd reason, I can't.
Man, you need some therapy.
Why he put them all the way down there?
You know, if you move to the right state, the conversion therapy is still legal.
And I don't want her to see another man's cheeks. So I'm trying to prevent her from seeing certain things. That's why I typically will make sure there's no other males in there and that the path from the door to the stall is clear. So that way I can ensure the environment because as a parent, you control the environment your child is going through. Okay. And I don't know if some fathers realize that, but you control the environment. So I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure it's a clear path from the front door to the stall. Hopefully there's a lock on the door and there's nobody else in there and I can lock the door. Now I can have some peace of mind that she's going to be able to go to the bathroom comfortably and not have to worry about your hair sitting on the toilet or the edge of the toilet seat. There's certain things I don't expose my child to. Now, if I need to make an executive decision to go into the women's stall because it's a little bit cleaner or there's
not an executive decision,
then I'm going to do that. Okay, as a father, I'm going to do that for my child. And I would hope that most fathers exercise that because I say that it falls on the father to make that judgment decision of, am I going to go to the men's or am I going to go to the women's? Or hopefully most cases they have both. Are you
let's close it out, fellas.
The Energizer Bunny.
Let's go and close it out. You know, minute and a half or less. Wicked, it's on you. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Man, where do we go from here? I think we had a pretty good debate tonight. Pretty couple topics that were a little too much for T-Reason to comprehend in the beginning, but then towards the end I feel like me and him agreed a little bit more, so it's like this love-hate relationship that we have with each other. It's great. That's what makes the show entertaining. But I definitely think we all brought up a bunch of good topics tonight, a bunch of good points. I think at the end of the day we pretty much agreed on a few things more than we disagreed, but overall it was a pretty good show.
Cool. All right. The Indian Jesus, what you got, my man?
Well, I gotta thank both Dane and you guys here at the Vulcan Soapbox. I appreciate the invite. Had a good time. Team Reason, I enjoyed going back and forth, and I'm sure I will be back. I think we got to a point on the specific prompts themselves, so I don't really have anything to add there. But guys, I want to say this, but I don't want to act like I'm big broing anybody. But everybody should subscribe. This platform is definitely going to blow up. I see what you guys are doing here, and already you've got a good flow. You've got all the pieces in place, and take some time to find your legs. But I'm definitely subscribed. I will definitely be back, and can't wait to see where you guys go with this. Yeah, please do also subscribe over to me at the Indian Jesus Again, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, T Reason.
Yeah, I think it was a good pod tonight, man. I think these guys they have interesting standpoints, obviously different to mine. And I think they need to start coming with pen and pad, notepad in hand, because school is in session. I will be schooling these guys every Monday night at 8:30. So have your popcorn ready and your wicked dreams on deck. It was nice meeting Indian Jesus. Obviously, he has different views than mine, and ours do clash at various times. It's nice to find that sometimes we're in agreement. I think I was agreeing with him a few times. He got mad that I interrupted him, but I was actually adding to his point. But I think Dane needs to practice staying awake. If he needs to take some type of medication so he don't fall asleep because he likes to hear himself speak more than he listens to everyone else talk, I think he can absorb a lot of new information. And I think he's going to be on the path of enlightenment for a while. It's going to be a journey. We're not going to get him there overnight. But thanks for having me on the pod tonight.
Is he ever going to shut up?
I saw you, Dave.
My. I'm gonna tell you with Lutch up here. I've told him before. I don't know why, which he has a pretty big subscriber count, but I don't know why he's not up around 100K, because his branding, his entertainment is sometimes it's like watching a cartoon. It really is. You see that? It's like watching a cartoon. I'm glad he came on because, but I will say this, Lutch, this is the first time I've been on Vulcan Soapbox where they didn't have their stuff together at the very, very beginning, and they were stumbling and fumbling. Ordinarily, that's not the case. Usually, Vulcan over here is got the whip in his hand, and he's like asking Enos or Freshly, either one. It's 8:30. Is there a reason we're not started? It's 8:30. He's like that. So typically it runs a lot smoother. And when I first got here, I was having problems with my OBS. I'd added a lot of stuff to my OBS, and my computer wasn't liking it for some reason. So finally, I just logged right into the StreamYards. But I'm glad you came, Lutch, and you can invite some other people. I think it'd be great to get a little bit more. Honestly, I'd like to have some people who are going to typically be on the other side of the issues, from like me and Wicked, people to be more like on T Reasons. If you can say he stands on the side of the issue, which you're really not really sure about that, but something like that. And I know that Lutch is not necessarily. Would you say you're on the right, Lutch, or would you be more of a centrist?
I am more on the right, but the fact that I have to hesitate there is
center right. So you're kind of centrist, right. and so which I am too in a lot of cases, but I think Lutch is just his mindset to be a real plus to it. So thanks for coming. Thanks for doing it, James. Vulcan, I know that there's a lot of stress when you have like a real job, which I don't really have. There's a lot of stress keeping it together. So I do appreciate y'all having it this week and not, say, hey, we're going to skip this week. But I had a good time. I wish my software would have cooperated. I could have been more involved more. So I'm looking forward to next week.
I think everybody did a great job on the show. Yeah, definitely tune into a lot of other shows. Dane's right. This is probably our most disorganized one we've done. Other host was stepped out last minute, I think maybe 30 minutes before the show started. So Enos was able to step in, which is becoming a theme now. Because I think last episode or two, we've had, Enos stepped in. Now it looks like that's just what he does. He steps in. But really, we just trying to figure out how to make it work, because part of it is just staying consistent. And if that's you already into the show, you want to make sure you maintain that. So, but definitely everybody out there who watches the show, send in videos, clips, questions you may have for the panel. We try to have a diverse panel on with different views. Typically, I like to be on the panel, but if it's if we have somebody short, then I just more so fill into other slot just so we can have it run somewhat smooth. And outside of that, I think we had a great show, so I was excited for everybody being on. So tune in. We'll do it again next Monday, and definitely sub to Dane's page, Dane's channel. Sub to and the Indian Jesus channel. Reason.
Everybody in my chat, I put all the links. Everybody go follow everybody.
Make sure y'all sub. And we'll do this again. Vulcan Soapbox out, fellas.
Peace.